All right, so you're interested in NewGen Software Technologies, right? More specifically, their revenue streams and what their future growth might look like. Well, we've got earnings call transcripts, investor presentations, the whole shebang. So let's take a deep dive into those revenue streams and try to get a sense of what the future holds for NewGen.
You know, it's interesting how NewGen has built a business model that basically creates this natural compounding effect.
Oh, okay. Tell me more about that. What do you mean by compounding?
Well, they have three main revenue streams: software licenses, then you've got implementation services, and lastly, support and maintenance.
Okay, so it sounds like they make that initial software sale, then help the client set everything up, and then they offer ongoing support, right, to keep things running smoothly.
Exactly, and that's where the compounding comes in. Each license sale isn't just a one-time payment. It also kicks off this flow of future revenue.
Ah, I see. You're talking about that recurring revenue from the support and maintenance agreements. So each new customer is like an investment that keeps on giving.
Right on. More licenses today mean more recurring revenue down the line. Pretty clever, huh?
Yeah, that's very smart. But in terms of those revenue streams, how does it actually break down? What's bringing in the most money?
Software licenses are the big kahuna. They bring in about 60% of a typical deal. The other 40% is split between the implementation and then the support and maintenance, that recurring revenue we were talking about.
Got it. So 60% licenses, 40% split between the other two.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
But here's where it gets really interesting. That support and maintenance revenue is actually growing faster than the company's overall growth rate.
Whoa, wait a minute. Even faster than their already impressive growth. Tell me more. What kind of numbers are we talking about here?
Well, based on their recent reports, think about 20% per year.
Wow. 20% per year. That's a seriously healthy growth rate. So even if new software license sales were to slow down, that recurring revenue would be a nice safety net.
Absolutely. It shows they've got a healthy and sustainable business model. They're not just chasing new customers, but also nurturing those existing relationships, which provides a solid base for continued growth.
This is making me want to invest in software stocks. But before I jump the gun, let's zoom out and look at their overall growth. What's their track record and how much room is there for them to expand?
Their recent performance has been pretty stellar. In fiscal year 2024, they saw a 28% jump in revenue year over year. And it's not just a one-off thing. They've maintained an average annual growth rate of around 25% for the past few years.
Wow, 25%. Sounds like they're hitting their stride.
They are. And they've got ambitious plans for the future. During their last earnings call, they mentioned a target of $500 million in revenue by the end of fiscal year 2027.
That's a bold target. $500 million by 2027. Do you think they can pull it off?
Well, it all depends on a few key factors. They're making strategic moves to tap into new markets and broaden their product offerings, which are crucial if they want to hit that ambitious goal.
Okay, let's break down those strategies. Where are they focusing their efforts right now?
One key area is geographic expansion. They're seeing significant growth in emerging markets, particularly India and the Middle East.
Interesting. So they're capitalizing on those rapidly growing markets. Makes sense. But what about more mature markets like the US and Europe? Are they making any progress there?
They are, but it's a tougher nut to crack. They're strategically shifting their focus in those mature markets to target larger enterprise-level clients. Their aim is to boost their revenue per customer.
I see. Go big or go home, right? But how are those larger deals actually panning out? Are they finding success with that approach?
It's been a bit of a mixed bag so far. They've managed to snag some significant deals, but the pace of those deals in mature markets is still lagging behind where they'd like it to be.
So it's a work in progress, but it sounds like they're committed to making it happen. What kind of numbers are we talking about with these larger deals?
Their average deal size now falls somewhere between $700,000 and $2 million.
Wow. That's a pretty big jump from their smaller deals. No wonder they're seeing an increase in revenue per customer. So what's the overall impact of this shift been like?
Well, they reported a 29% increase in revenue per customer in fiscal year 2024, which is directly tied to that strategic shift.
That's a pretty clear sign their strategy is working. It seems like they're playing the long game here, prioritizing quality over quantity.
You got it. Their focus is on maximizing both revenue and that long-term growth potential by focusing on these high-value clients, a classic quality over quantity approach.
All of this sounds pretty promising, but what about the competitive landscape? I mean, they're not the only players in this field, right?
Definitely not. They're facing some stiff competition in the enterprise content management and business process management space. You've got several big global players all vying for market share.
So how does NEWGEN stand out in such a crowded market? What's their secret weapon?
Their differentiator is their focus on specific, targeted solutions, combined with a strong commitment to research and development. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. Instead, they're carving out their niche by offering specialized solutions that meet the unique needs of their target clients.
So they're going for depth over breadth. Makes sense. But how do they ensure those solutions stay ahead of the curve?
Their R&D program is incredibly robust, which is evident in their numerous patents. They're constantly innovating and developing new technologies to make sure their solutions remain competitive.
That's super important in the fast-paced world of software. But tech is only one piece of the puzzle. What about their track record with customer satisfaction?
Actually, they have a pretty impressive track record of keeping their customers happy, and they've been really successful at upselling to their existing clients.
So they're not just acquiring new clients, but they're building those long-lasting relationships and expanding them over time. Sounds like a good recipe for success.
Absolutely. What's really impressive is that they expect about 50% of their future growth to come from existing clients. That says a lot about their ability to deliver value and build those lasting relationships you mentioned.
That's pretty remarkable. So they're banking on both acquiring new clients and deepening those existing relationships. A two-pronged approach to growth. But are they relying only on traditional growth strategies or embracing any cutting-edge technologies to stay ahead of the game?
Oh, they're definitely embracing the future. They've been investing heavily in AI and generative AI.
Okay, so they're not just keeping up with the times, they're actively shaping them. What kind of AI-powered solutions are they offering?
A great example is their NEWGEN Marvin platform. It uses generative AI to enhance their end-to-end automation capabilities. It helps organizations rapidly transform customer journeys through faster, smarter application development. They're also using AI to improve their content management capabilities, making it easier for clients to extract insights and automate processes.
So they're streamlining operations, improving efficiency, and creating a more personalized customer experience with AI. Pretty powerful stuff. Any other AI-powered products we should know about?
There's also Lumen, an AI-based hyper-personalization platform specifically for the banking sector. It helps banks tailor their offerings and communications to individual customer behavior, which ultimately drives sales and boosts customer engagement.
Wow, so they're not just throwing AI at every problem, they're developing targeted solutions for specific needs within key industries. That's a smart approach. It sounds like NEWGEN is well-positioned for continued growth.
They are. They've laid a solid foundation, they're making smart strategic moves, and they're embracing those cutting-edge technologies to stay ahead of the competition.
It'll be interesting to see how they perform over the next few years, especially with that ambitious revenue target. Do you think they're on track to hit that $500 million mark?
It's definitely possible. They've consistently exceeded expectations in the past, but there are some potential headwinds on the horizon that could impact their growth.
Okay, let's talk about those potential challenges. What obstacles might they encounter on their road to continued success?
Well, the global economic climate is always a factor. We're seeing some uncertainty in mature markets, which could affect their ability to close those big deals.
That's a valid concern. Any other potential roadblocks?
Another challenge is the ever-present competition. As we discussed earlier, they're operating in a fiercely competitive space, and those established players aren't just going to sit back and watch NEWGEN grab market share.
True. They'll need to stay agile and innovative to fend off those competitors.
Absolutely. And they'll need to keep investing in R&D to ensure their solutions remain cutting edge and attractive to clients.
So it's not just about maintaining their current momentum, but staying ahead of the curve and adapting to the ever-evolving needs of the market.
Precisely. They can't afford to rest on their laurels. They'll need to continue pushing boundaries and innovating to achieve their long-term goals.
This has been a fascinating deep dive so far. NEWGEN seems to be constantly evolving and striving for growth. I'm really interested in hearing more about their specific initiatives and how they're tackling these challenges.
Well, during their latest earnings call, they shared some pretty interesting insights into their plans for the coming year. Want to explore those a bit further?
Absolutely. Let's hear what they've got up their sleeve.
Well, one thing they're really focused on is their go-to-market strategy. They're refining their approach to better target those larger clients, especially in those mature markets. And they're putting a lot of emphasis on partnerships.
Partnerships, huh? Interesting. What kind of partnerships?
Particularly with global system integrators, GSIs,
GSIs. right? The big consulting firms, the ones that help those large organizations implement those complex technology solutions. So NEWGEN is teaming up with them to reach those enterprise clients.
Exactly. They've already got some partnerships going with some key GSIs, and they're working on developing joint solutions and go-to-market plans.
So they're laying the groundwork for future growth with these strategic alliances. What other initiatives are they working on?
Product development is a big one. They're expanding what they offer and creating new solutions. One area they highlighted as a potential growth driver is their trade finance solution.
Trade finance. What's driving the demand there?
Well, global trade is becoming more and more complex, right? So organizations are looking for solutions to manage their trade finance operations. NEWGEN's solution has a lot of capabilities like document management, workflow automation, even risk management tools, all designed to make things more efficient.
So they're tapping into a growing market with a solution that meets a specific need. What about their other product development efforts? What else are they working on?
They're enhancing their existing offerings too. For example, they recently released new versions of their enterprise content management products, OmniDocs and OmniExtract. These new versions use AI and machine learning to improve document processing and analysis.
So it's not just about releasing brand new products, but also improving what they already have. It seems like they're taking a multifaceted approach to growth, combining partnerships, product development, and market expansion.
Exactly. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
This is really insightful. It's clear NEWGEN has a lot of potential. But, like any growing company, they face certain risks. I'd like to hear more about their financials and how they're managing those risks.
Well, their financial results have been strong. They're growing and they're profitable. Their latest earnings report showed a 23% year-over-year increase in revenue just for the second quarter of fiscal year 2025.
23%. Wow.
And their profit margins are healthy too. They reported a profit after tax of INR 703 million for the quarter.
Impressive. It sounds like they're striking a good balance between growth and profitability.
Right, but they're also being smart with their investments. They're aware of the need to manage costs, especially in today's economic climate.
Makes sense. Are there any specific areas they're focusing on to manage those costs?
One key area is automation. They actually use their own automation technologies to streamline their internal processes and reduce manual work.
So they're practicing what they preach, huh? Using their own tools.
Exactly. It helps them save money and allows their employees to focus on more important tasks.
That's a good sign. And what about their approach to risk management? Are they doing anything specific to mitigate those potential threats?
They've got a comprehensive risk management framework in place. It covers all aspects of their business. They're also investing in cybersecurity to protect their data and systems.
Essential in today's world. It sounds like they're taking a proactive approach to managing risks, which is really important for any tech company.
Absolutely. They understand that risk is just part of doing business, and they're taking the right steps to manage it. They're also very transparent with investors about those risks, outlining their mitigation strategies in their reports and presentations.
Transparency is key. It builds trust with investors. This deep dive has been really eye-opening. It's clear NEWGEN is on the right track, but like any company, they face challenges.
They do, but they also have a lot of strengths. They've got a solid track record, a strong management team, a commitment to innovation, and a solid financial base.
It'll be interesting to see how they navigate the coming year. I'm curious to see if they can reach those ambitious goals.
Well, this year they actually reached a big milestone. They now have 65 customers with billings over INR 50 million. That shows they can attract those high-value clients, which is so important for long-term growth.
That's a great sign. It means they're building those relationships and expanding them. It's a real testament to their ability to deliver and exceed expectations.
Exactly. They're also seeing more success with larger deals. Their average deal size is now over INR 1 crore. It's a significant change and shows they're targeting more complex projects.
All of this suggests they're on the rise. But they do have their critics. Some analysts are worried about their ability to keep up that growth rate, especially with the competition and the global economic uncertainty.
Those concerns are valid, but we have to remember that NEWGEN has consistently exceeded expectations. They're adaptable and resilient.
It speaks to their leadership and their ability to execute their plans. I'm curious about their international expansion. They mentioned focusing on the U.S. market, which can be a tough one to crack. What's their approach there?
They're using a multi-pronged approach. Direct sales efforts, strategic partnerships, targeted marketing campaigns. They've also put together a U.S. team with experience in enterprise software sales.
So they're really going for it, not just dipping their toes in the water. But how are they standing out from the competition in the U.S., the big players already there?
They're emphasizing their expertise in specific areas like banking and insurance. They're also highlighting their platform, which has a wide range of capabilities.
So they're focusing on their strengths, targeting clients who need what they offer. Smart.
Right, and they're positioning themselves as a more agile and innovative alternative to those bigger, more established companies.
It sounds like they're making good progress. What about other international markets? Any specific regions they're targeting?
They're also growing their presence in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. They've got a good foothold in the Middle East already, lots of growth in banking and financial services there, and they're exploring opportunities in other markets like South Africa and Nigeria.
So they're going global, expanding into new markets, and strengthening their position in existing ones. Ambitious, but it seems to be working.
It is. Their international expansion is a big part of their overall revenue growth. They're investing in these efforts because they recognize the importance of diversifying their revenue.
Makes sense, especially with the global economy being so unpredictable. I'd love to hear more about their future plans and how they're approaching the challenges and opportunities ahead.
Well, they've outlined some key priorities for the coming year. Expanding their partner ecosystem, developing new solutions for specific industries, and continuing to invest in research and development.
Those sound like good strategies. Let's dive into those a bit more, shall we? How do they plan to execute those plans?
Expanding their partner ecosystem is a major focus. They know they can't achieve their growth goals alone.
The power of collaboration. What kind of partners are they looking for?
They're looking for all sorts: GSIs, technology providers, consulting firms, resellers. They're also expanding their existing partner program, giving their partners more resources and support.
So a diverse partner ecosystem, essential for any company that wants to grow quickly. And what about those industry-specific solutions? Any particular industries they're focusing on?
They've identified a few key industries where they see a lot of potential: banking, insurance, government, healthcare, and education. They're creating solutions specifically for those industries.
So they're really putting in the work to create new offerings, not just repackaging old ones.
And in terms of research and development, they're still investing heavily. They know innovation is key to their long-term success. They're focused on a few areas like AI, machine learning, cloud computing, and mobile technologies.
So they're embracing those cutting-edge technologies to stay ahead of the game.
Right. They're also doing research into new technologies, things that could disrupt the industry. They're taking a proactive approach to innovation.
It's clear they're committed to innovation and growth. They're making the right moves, investing in the right areas, and building a strong base for the future. But as we talked about earlier, they do face challenges, like increasing competition in the global economy, and they need to attract and retain talent.
All true. But NEWGEN has a history of overcoming challenges. They've got a vision, a talented team, and a solid financial foundation. They're not afraid to take risks.
It'll be fascinating to see what they do in the coming year. I think they have what it takes to be successful in this industry.
I agree. They're definitely a company to watch. So, we were talking about those global system integrators, those GSIs. NEWGEN's been really actively expanding their network of those, especially the ones that have a strong presence in the US and Europe.
Right, the GSIs. They're basically the giants of the consulting world, right? They help companies implement those massive, complex tech projects.
Exactly. And for NEWGEN, these partnerships are like a key to unlocking those big enterprise clients they're targeting, especially in those mature markets.
Yeah, it's like getting that VIP access, right, to those big decision makers.
Exactly. They've got those established relationships with major corporations, so they can really vouch for NEWGEN's capabilities. It opens doors that would be much harder to open otherwise.
So it's a way for NEWGEN to fast-track their entry into those tougher markets, leverage those existing connections.
It's a win-win, really. NEWGEN gets that visibility and access to those clients, and the GSIs, well, they can expand their own offerings with NEWGEN's solutions.
Makes sense. But it's not just about signing on the dotted line and hoping for the best, right? I mean, these relationships take work.
Oh, absolutely. NEWGEN's taking a very hands-on approach. They've dedicated resources to building strong relationships with these firms. They're working closely with them, understanding their needs, and coming up with those joint go-to-market strategies.
So it's a true partnership, a collaboration.
Exactly. They're putting in the effort to make sure these partnerships are beneficial for both sides.
Sounds like they're on the right track with those GSI partnerships. But what about those new industry-specific solutions? Are they just tweaking existing products or building something entirely new?
It's a mix, really. They leverage their platform and their expertise, of course, but they're also investing in new features that are specific to each vertical.
So they're recognizing that each industry has its own unique needs.
Right. For instance, in banking, they're working on solutions that address trends like open banking, the rise of fintech, all that.
Oh yeah, open banking. That's where banks open up their data and systems to third-party developers, right?
That's it. And NEWGEN's developing solutions that help banks integrate with those third-party applications.
So they're not just keeping pace, they're helping shape the future of banking.
And it's a similar approach in other industries. They're always researching, trying to figure out what those unmet needs are and how they can fill them.
It's like they're always one step ahead.
That's what differentiates them. They're anticipating those trends, developing solutions that can help their clients stay ahead of the curve.
That's really fascinating. It seems like they have a very proactive approach to this whole product development thing.
They do, and that's one of the reasons I'm so optimistic about their growth. They're not complacent. They're constantly pushing the boundaries and innovating.
Always looking for the next big thing.
Exactly. And that's what fuels innovation and growth, you know?
It really does. You've painted a really compelling picture of NEWGEN's plans. They've got a plan, they're executing it, and they seem ready to embrace the future.
I agree. I think they have the potential to achieve great things.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to that initial question. Can NEWGEN realistically hit that $500 million revenue target by the end of fiscal year 2027?
Based on everything we've talked about today, I think it's definitely possible. They've got the foundation, they're making those smart decisions, and they're executing their plan. But of course, there will be challenges along the way.
Yeah, there are always bumps in the road.
Of course. But it's how they overcome those challenges that defines their success.
Exactly. And they seem to have a good track record of rising to the occasion.
They do, but they'll need a little luck too, right? The global economy, it can be unpredictable. You never know what might happen.
That's very true. But they're not putting all their eggs in one basket, right? They're diversifying, expanding into new markets, building that partner ecosystem.
Right. So they're building a more resilient business, something that can weather those storms.
It's like building a ship that can withstand those rough seas.
Exactly. I think that's precisely what NEWGEN's doing.
This has been incredibly insightful. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
It's been my pleasure. I always enjoy talking about companies that are making a difference.
And to our listeners, we've taken you on a deep dive into NEWGEN Software Technologies, a company at the forefront of digital transformation. We've explored their strengths, their challenges, and the opportunities ahead. We hope this has given you a well-rounded view of this innovative company.
Remember, though, this is just a snapshot. The tech industry changes so quickly. NEWGEN has to stay adaptable, keep innovating to maintain that competitive edge. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds for them.
We encourage you to do your own research, form your own opinions. But we think NEWGEN has a bright future.
Their journey shows what can happen with innovation, determination, and a focus on the customer. It's a story that's still being written.
So to our listeners, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged in this ever-evolving world of technology. Until next time.